going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your preview for SummerSlam 2022. Yep, it's the first time I've been up here by myself for a while. I've totally gotten behind on doing anything related to Impact, including watching it. Past 2 weeks I was up here with Guapo talking about ROH stuff and AEW stuff. Didn't do the second week of Fyter Fest because it was kind of balls. Oh yes, I mean you put Kingston in a main event and that kind of thing just kind of happens. But I haven't come up here to talk about WWE in a while, and of course I'm by myself because nobody else really wants to talk about WWE. I'm trying to find my words here because I don't have notes. I have the wiki up here just to talk about the matches and whatnot, because talking about WWE is not exactly a detailed thing at the moment. If I come up here to talk about ROH or ROH, Destiny, Impact, AEW, usually with Guapo, usually got notes because there's, I don't want to forget anything, there's details, etc. With WWE, it's pretty much, here's the matches, here's what I think, boom, and we're done. And with nobody to hold up the other end of the conversation, the video is probably, or the pod is probably going to be a lot shorter. On a side note, hoping to get Guapo with me later in the week, because hoping to also preview Ric Flair's last match and the card that's going along with that. So I'm recording this on Tuesday, so obviously SmackDown hasn't happened yet. I mean, I'm putting this out Friday morning, so even as you're listening to this, SmackDown hasn't happened yet. But recording this on Tuesday, I'm dealing with a bit of a cold, so if I sound a bit like crap, I do apologize. Maybe take me out of your ears a little bit. But yeah, so anything that happens between now and Friday won't be included in this because I won't know. No time travel happening here. But WWE, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot and nothing. There's a lot of, okay, now we wait, happening. If I can be perfectly honest. Am I going to jump on the bandwagon of, oh my God, Vince is gone, nah. No, because I'm not a psychopath. Am I going to jump on the Me Too bandwagon? No, because his situation isn't a Me Too situation, as much as Twitter would like to make it a Me Too situation. And I will say, for the umpteenth time, I've said it on social media, it hasn't made me very popular, but Linda, listen up. Put your hearing aid in, put your headphones in. It's your boy Spaz Phoenix. If you want revenge on Vince, I will knock some 77-year-old Dusty Clamburger out of this fucking world for the kind of money that Vince was throwing around. Oh yes. But yeah, Vince is gone. He's been shuffled off his wrestling coil, which is a phrase that's been thrown around a lot this week because, we thought we were going to have to wait for him to die because, that's the kind of thing that sane people say. I swear to God, people took the CM Punk pipe bomb, and you hear him talk now, and he even hates people referencing the pipe bomb. That's how bad it is. But, the whole, I'd like to think wrestling would be better when Vince McMahon is dead. People have taken that one line. There's better lines in that very promo, but the line that people like to hold on to, and they like to hold on to because CM Punk was the Great White Hope, and now he's off promoting other weird stuff like the idea that Sasha Banks has any value. But that one line, that one simple, wrestling will be better when Vince McMahon is dead. People have creepily held on to that one line from that promo that is how old now? Really? It's not exactly a Dusty my hand touching your hand promo, is it? It's not even as good as the, your arms are too short to box with God promo that he had with The Rock. But no, we hold on to that because they talked about Vince McMahon dying, because wrestling fans are good people. Now, on the other side of the coin, before I switch over, my last thought on this is what I said on Twitter not too long ago, and people picked up on it, and people tried to pick it apart, and it's just true. You do not have to like Vince McMahon. You do not have to like any of his product. You do not have to watch a single second of WWE if you don't want to. I'll be the first to admit they have absolutely neutered NXT. But here's what you also have to admit. Whatever wrestling you watch, and I'm you know me, I'm starting to branch out a little bit. Went to Greektown, going to Destiny again soon, going to Raw in Toronto. I've jumped on the AEW bandwagon. AEW has introduced me to ROH. I started watching Impact not too long ago, as you all know. Whatever wrestling you watch right now, and listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Whatever wrestling you watch right now exists because wrestling itself exists. And what dragged wrestling into 2022 from where it was back then? Wrestling exists currently in a bubble as it does today because of the persistent existence of WWF, WWE. And why did WWF, and WWE persist so long? One guy, Vince McMahon. And yes, does that mean he went through a bunch of cutthroat things? Did he cut people that you loved? Yes. Did he make deals with people that you don't like? Yes. Did he get ridiculous money from Fox and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? Let's hang him out in the streets. Yes. But he kept wrestling going so that New Japan could come in and latch onto that boat, and AEW could come and latch onto that boat, and Impact could come and latch onto that boat, and all the indies that I'm starting to enjoy now can exist. Because here's the thing. You can be the best soccer player in the world, but you don't know that you're the best soccer player in the world if soccer doesn't exist. The creator of the game of soccer is probably not as good at soccer as the best soccer player today. Absolutely not. WWE is pretty fucking shit. You've heard me say it quite a bit. But without wrestling existing, newly debuting companies, I guess if you want to say that, new minds, new heads, new people with big pockets of money like Tony Khan couldn't look at wrestling and say, yeah, I'd like to give that a try if wrestling didn't make it this far. And I'm sorry. You can't say wrestling would have made it this far if there wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel called WWE. You want to call me on that? Do you want to call me on that? Watch next year when WrestleMania week comes along. Watch how many of your favorite companies will follow WWE to whatever city they are in and do a show because they know that the audience has followed WWE. Doesn't mean WWE is good. Doesn't mean you have to like Vince McMahon. Whatever wrestling you enjoy right now, today, as I'm recording this, July 26th, 2022, whatever wrestling you enjoy right now, you owe a little bit of it to Vince McMahon. And you don't have to like him. He's not a nice guy. But that's why he got to where he got. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now what I will say is the other side of the coin is who's taken over is Stephanie, who has been the chief brand officer of WWE for ages and done a hell of a lot. Let's be real. WWE had to recover from the Benoit tragedy. They had to recover from the steroid scandal. They had to recover from all kinds of other shit. And she has done that. She has gotten out into the community. She's done outreach. She's done charity. She's made it PG, or was probably part of making it PG. I don't know that part of the story. And she has made it not a good product, but a friendly product. And I tip my cap to Stephanie McMahon. No matter what you think of the character, and it's not like Vince, where people think the character that he portrays on TV is actually him either, which is another really, really weird dichotomy that needs to go away. But whatever she's done as the chief brand officer of this company is fan-fucking-tastic. And who else has come back? This is me. This is your boy. This is the guy that used to have NXT, the good NXT, black and gold, rock and roll, Triple H NXT as the flagpole of this channel. Now, who's in charge of superstar relations and who's in charge of creative now? Who's wearing both of those hats is the guy that just had a heart attack not too long ago, and that's Triple H. So are all the signs pointing to the fact that it will be better with Vince gone? Was CM Punk ultimately right? Probably. I still don't like that we cling on to the death portion of that promo, but probably. That doesn't mean the reason that he was forced out of his own company was good. All I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. We've got Triple H doing superstar relations and creative. We've got Stephanie McMahon with Nick Khan in sort of a co-position, you know, pushing the brand forward. And we've got the ever-pending rumor looking over all of our shoulders of WWE going back to TV 14. And yes, it is an old, tired argument. Oh, going TV 14 won't just magically make it a good product again. Right. You're absolutely right. It will not. We will not get you know, a few more fucks and a few more tits and a few more references to sex and people getting to call belts belts and people getting to call hospitals hospitals and getting to call superstars wrestlers and getting to call the WWE Universe fans again. Those are not all magically going to make it suddenly a good product. But you know what? It ain't going to fucking hurt. I'll tell you that right now. So, are we in a good direction? Yes. Did we get there in a really shitty way? Also, yes. So, that being said, that's everything that you could possibly ask my opinion on this week, is it not? So let's get on to the actual card, because the actual card is fucking ridiculous. The Mysterios, I'm just going to jump on in, I don't know. Nothing has been relegated to the pre-show, which is good for the wrestlers, but also it means the pre-show is going to be like a 1 or 2 hour nothing. Means we don't have to watch the kickoff, per se, unless they add something on Friday, as I said. The Mysterios are taking on the Judgment Day. Again, they just fought on Raw. Raw was actually pretty good from Madison Square Garden, which always gives it a little bit of extra gravitas. Mysterios versus the Judgment Day off of the back of Rey Mysterio's 20th anniversary was also a lot of fun. I think Mysterios even got the win, did they not? They did, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are freaking out that Judgment Day being the new creative thing in WWE, they should have gotten the win, and they could have had a really nice win over Rey Mysterio on his night and whatever. But one of the turnovers and one of the things that, you know, from the Vince era that we need to get away from, in my opinion, and I agree, in other people's opinion, and I agree, of course I'm going to agree with myself, is sometimes you just need to let a nice thing be a nice thing, and we got out of it afterwards. Anyways, Dominic and Ray and Aaliyah and Angie in the back celebrating his 20-year thing. Aaliyah giving him his own ring gear from, what was it, Halloween Havoc 97? Nothing else happened at Halloween Havoc 97, did it? Anyways. Another story for another day. Getting beaten down in his party, but still getting to have a good positive moment in front of the actual crowd was a good call, in my opinion. We've got the return of Rhea Ripley, and I'm sorry, I like Damian Priest. I'm a huge fan of Finn Balor. I like him better as a dick, who's just really good. But there's something about the image, especially because we haven't seen her in a couple weeks, but there's something specifically about the image of Rhea Ripley beating the shit out of the Mysterios that just made me smile. Also, her going face-to-face with Aaliyah, considering that she's actually dating Buddy Murphy now, made me laugh a whole lot. Somebody tell me down in the box below, does she have any interest in being a wrestler at all? Because that would be really, really funny. Make it a 6-person intergender tag. Nope, don't do that. We don't need to do that. But Rhea Ripley returning at Madison Square Garden is also really cool. Kind of a bummer that she returned in a backstage segment and she wasn't out with them. Was she out with them for the match? I don't think she was. But I think she's the leader of the Judgment Day. If you take my meaning here, they introduced Finn Balor into the Judgment Day, and they did it in the same segment they got rid of Edge, and this was going to be the new Judgment Day. But then that same night, and I praised this in a podcast I did not too long ago, and it was basically like why the women's division is better off without Sasha Banks and Naomi. Go back and listen to it. It was really good, in my biased opinion. But that same night, Rhea Ripley went on to become the #1 contender and then get injured, so she didn't get her shot at Bianca Belair, which is kind of good, because she probably would have gotten beaten by Bianca Belair, because Bianca Belair is Bianca Belair, and the agenda is still a thing. But she got injured, she went home. Edge went home because he was selling his attack and his injury, and you just had Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And when you just had Damian Priest and Finn Balor, they were wrestling on Main Event. And that's really sad. That is really, really sad. So they've come back to fight the Mysterios, and they've been put in this prominent spot by the addition of Rhea Ripley. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this, because the other thing looming in the works is this entire match exists for the return of Edge. So I don't know whether it's they beat the crap out of the Mysterios and continue beating the crap out of them after the bell and Edge makes the save, or do the Mysterios win at SummerSlam, get a nice father-son victory on the big, stadium stage, and Edge comes out and picks the bones, because that'd be really shitty. I kind of want the Judgment Day to pick up the win here. It's nothing against the Mysterios. Dominic if we fix NXT, Dominic could go to NXT and Rey Mysterio could do some other stuff. Everybody thought that Edge was going to come back on Raw. One of the Mysterios was going to be taken out and the other Mysterio would have teamed up with Edge for this match. That does not seem to be the case unless they do something on SmackDown. And don't tell me it can't happen because the brand extension basically doesn't exist anymore. People are saying it's going to be the rated R superstar and it's going to go with WWE going to PG 14, which I think if they change it to PG 14 and then bring in the rated R superstar, it's still going to miss the mark, but it's going to be fine, I guess. Somebody suggested on Twitter that he should bring back his old Marilyn Manson music or Rob Zombie music. And I think that would be really... I like the Metalingus music. I think the music that they gave the Judgment Day is pretty shit, if you want my honest opinion. It's a no disqualification match, so maybe Edge might come in during the match, and it'll be a stare-down 3-on-3 with Edge staring down Rhea Ripley, which will make me laugh. I really do wish WWE would do intergender stuff. I know that they can't, and I know that they won't. Let's be fair, AEW doesn't really do it either. That's where I give the points to Impact and to Destiny. Check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's fine. I don't know. One way or another, Judgment Day has to win, and it has to push forward to whatever they're doing. Now, does Edge take on Damian Priest because he's the youngest wrestler and he needs the rub? Does Edge take on Finn Balor because that's the biggest name value match you get out of this? Or does Edge take on both of them with Rhea Ripley in their corner in a potentially 3-on-1 handicap match at the next show? Because it's not exactly... Normally, I would say Edge would surprise us and bring back Christian. I wonder what Christian's doing right now. Oh yeah, he's beating up Jungle Boy. It's fine. I don't know. Ultimately, I have a strong feeling that they're going to give the Mysterios like a feel-good win. I have a feeling this might open the show. I have a feeling that giving the Mysterios the win will then somehow be offset by Edge's return, and then the focus, like, they can go off and enjoy their victory, and Judgment Day will go off and refocus on what they're doing with Edge. But I think the Judgment Day need a win over the Mysterios to propel them into whatever they're doing with Edge. Logan Paul versus The Miz, because of course it is. Story of this one is an odd one. I don't know anything about the Paul brothers other than what I've heard about them on social media, and they're terrible people and they did the thing in the Suicide Forest. I get it. We're not supposed to like them ever. It's fine. The story of this match, however, is The Miz's new connection with Tommaso Ciampa. And how fast is it going to be, or how long is it going to be before AJ Styles, of all people, which is a bit strange, shows up in Logan Paul's corner? And do they actually do the on pay-per-view switch to it being a tag team match? Like, I know it's a Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown thing where a singles match happens and there's people in the corners and they can't help but get involved, so we make it a tag team match, playa. I mean, it's SummerSlam, you can bring out Teddy Long for one night, it's fine. I'm not gonna lie, I kinda hope they do that, because if Ciampa's at SummerSlam just to be in somebody else's corner, and AJ Styles is at SummerSlam and he's just there to be in somebody's corner who's not even really a wrestler. I mean, he does good for a not wrestler, don't get me wrong, but that's quite a downgrade for two wrestlers that I have a lot of respect for. So I'm gonna make a pretty weird prediction here. I'm going to say that the singles match goes to a no contest, it becomes a tag team match, and Logan Paul and AJ Styles beat The Miz and Tommaso Ciampa. Now, unfortunately, that puts down my boy The Miz, and it puts down Tommaso Ciampa. Like, is Tommaso Ciampa even recognizable from how we knew him in proper black and gold rock and roll Triple H NXT? No, he's not. But we can come back. We're in good stead. We're in a direction with the show now. It's fine, and we're all celebrating that Vince might be dead because Twitter's strange. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. We all know how this should go, and it's probably not going to go that way. I think Belair is going to bury Becky Lynch again, and that makes me incredibly, incredibly sad. People are already petitioning Triple H He's had the position for 4 days. If anybody can bring back Sasha Banks, it's Papa H. No, because first of all, the Papa H thing is really weird. Second of all, if he's the Papa, he knows when the kid needs to be sent to their fucking room. Oh, yes. Becky Lynch is the bigger star, but Bianca Belair is Bianca Belair. She's going to win. Becky Lynch should win. That's all I got for this one. On the other side of the coin, you've got her hubby, Seth freaking Rollins. The other thing I saw with the TV-14 rating is, like, I want somebody to introduce Seth Rollins as Seth fucking Rollins. I mean, I would love that. It's not going to happen, but I would love that. I would also like Riddle to get his first name back. I mean, Gunther is also a thing that needs to be fixed, but we'll talk about that when we talk about it, because the Intercontinental Championship, once again, isn't even on the goddamn show. Seth Rollins versus Riddle is just going to be a fucking good match. I don't know where either of them are going. Because there's because both championship belts are on one guy, and that one guy is Roman Reigns, and they've already written into the storyline that technically Riddle can't go after Roman again, and Seth Rollins, if he goes after Roman again, it'll be weird, because they'll do, like, weird pseudo-shield stuff. I don't know whether that's a thing that should happen. I don't see either of them going downward. I don't see either one of them, like, going for the IC or the US title either. So, as far as direction, I can't make a prediction here. I would like Seth Rollins to win, because Seth Rollins is an awesome wrestler. He's done a really great job this year making everybody else look fantastic. Not saying they didn't look fantastic already, but Seth Rollins makes it better. He's getting into Ziggler territory, though, which is really bad, and we're going to talk about Ziggler later on as well. But he needs a win. He deserves a win. He was the whipping boy for the introduction of Cody Rhodes, and he got beaten by Cody Rhodes, and then he got beaten cheaply by Cody Rhodes, and then he got beaten by half a bruised Cody Rhodes. They need to give him something. And I mean, Riddle's popular. As much as a certain section of social media doesn't want Riddle to be popular, Riddle is popular, and he can come back. I really would, at some point. I don't know how you would get to it, because Brock's a face now as well. I really would love to see Riddle versus Brock Lesnar, just because I think it would be hysterical. Like, get, like, old, like, boombox, beatbox Brock, like, doing the Brock party, and turn it into a bro party, and then they just have, I don't know, it wouldn't be for a title, because I don't think he's winning the title. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I want Rollins to win, because I think he needs a win. I don't think he as a talent needs a win, because we know what Rollins can do. But he as a character needs a win to back up this, like, delusional diva version of himself. He needs to get something. It's like when Sami Zayn was doing all the conspiracy theory stuff. He needed to have a little bit of a crumb of something to keep going. What else? Riddle doesn't get hurt by a loss either in this. Like I say, he's popular despite people not wanting him to be. Yeah, I'm picking Rollins in this. I don't think I'm right, but yeah. Another lopsided fight we need to talk about is Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. And I don't know, call me a sap, because, like, even the people that I like are people that are very, very heavily churned through the champions rotation. I like Becky Lynch, but she's had the title a lot. Ronda Rousey has had a title a lot. Charlotte's had a title a few times. Sasha Banks had the title a whole bunch. Bianca Belair is Bianca Belair. Bayley, when she comes back, is probably going to get herself in a title picture, deservedly so, for what she did during the pandemic. She's sort of an Asuka in that place. Somebody you wouldn't have really thought being in that rotation was Liv Morgan, and that's what made her win at Money in the Bank, both in the Money in the Bank match and being smart against Ronda Rousey later on in the night. Well, that's what made it so good, because it was an actual underdog playing an actual underdog with the fans behind her genuinely playing the character with the fans behind her. So it all kind of came together, and it's just, you don't get, especially in WWE, you get a few more in AEW, I'll give them that credit, but you don't get very many times in WWE where it's like, okay, this person has achieved this because we've told you that they're trying to achieve this, right? You don't get very many genuine I really do feel happy for that person moments, if that makes sense. For me, it was Jeff Hardy back in the day. For a lot of people, it was Daniel Bryan. For a few other weird people, it was Kofi Kingston. I mean, Bianca Belair was jammed down our throats. It's fine. But, like, the genuine stuff, especially in WWE, which is so cookie cutter, is something that you can't play around with and you can't fuck with. Because if the fans give you that genuine reaction, not only the fans in the audience and the fans on social media and the fans in casual conversation, if all those fan groups come together, which never fucking happens, you gotta be careful with that. Because sometimes you do something that pleases the Twitter trolls and the crowd in the audience don't really care, or vice versa. But you piss off both of those groups, you're done. You're just done. Like I say, the way they played it off, her going into a pile of people match like the Money in the Bank and coming out on top is a believable thing. You know, even a broken clock is right twice a day and all that kind of thing. But then her coming down, looking at the mountain that is Ronda Rousey and how that she should absolutely not have a shot at all. But she's just had a match with a technician like Natalya, and we can see that she's injured, and not just like running in, bashing her in the head with the briefcase and you know, stealing one, as they say, but coming down genuinely like face to face. And by that I mean like baby face to baby face. It's like, look, it sucks that you're in this position right now, but it really is a position that could benefit me. And going a couple minutes, what was it, like not even a minute, with Ronda Rousey in the state that she was in, getting the roll up, getting the win. And it wasn't stolen because she's not a heel. Kind of like Becky Lynch at SummerSlam last year. Didn't steal anything from Bianca Belair, even though they've tried to warp the story around that. And you looked her face to face and pinned her. Just like she did to Ronda, just like Liv Morgan did to Ronda Rousey. Now, don't often beg for a run-in, right? But it is SummerSlam, it is in a stadium. If they're going to start bringing back people, they're going to do it soon. And it's going to be somebody like Bayley. And if Bayley's a heel, Bayley could fuck over Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan could go and have like an underdog championship run. And Bayley's return feud could be with Ronda Rousey instead of immediately going for the title. Because if Bayley comes back and immediately goes for the title, you get into that same situation that everybody always gets into. If there's no run-in, I really do feel like Ronda Rousey is going to take Liv Morgan pillar to post and sort of eat her like a meal. Wouldn't we all like to? But that's another conversation for another pod, not this one, because I'd get kicked off at least YouTube, would I not? I want Liv to win this. I was with that crowd when I was like, fucking yeah. WWE did 3 things good at Money in the Bank, and 2 of them were Liv Morgan. I don't know how she wins this, because it's Ronda Rousey at the end of the day. Ronda Rousey's going to win. The back of my mind wants Liv Morgan to win, because I like to root for the underdog. Okay, here we go. For the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. The Usos versus the Street Profits again! Yay! But we're in Nashville. So we've got fucking Jeff Jarrett for reasons. Now, I love this because Jeff Jarrett does work for WWE, and Jeff Jarrett is also busy the next night. He's taking on Ric Flair. Oh man, I swear to God, the Ric Flair's last match card, and I'm going to say this again when I preview that card, it is the real Forbidden Door. Because look at that main event. Ric Flair and his son-in-law, Andrade El Idolo, taking on Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. So you've got WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair, current AEW superstar Andrade El Idolo, current, I guess, ROH star Jay Lethal, and WWE back-of-the-house guy Jeff Jarrett. It's going to be hard to watch this tag team match without thinking about what Jeff Jarrett's doing the next night. I know that's weird to say. I really do realize that that's weird to say, but it's going to be very, very strange to watch this match and focus on the match. Not for nothing, but like, we've seen this match 100 times as well. And the story plot hole that they all of a sudden are saying our referees are incompetent. So you know who can be a better referee? Somebody whose job is not to referee. And they've done the obvious shoulders up thing. And here's the thing I'm going to say about this. I like the Street Profits. I really do. I think they're a lot of fun. I think if you were going to, strike while the iron's hot, I think the iron was hot a couple months before COVID hit. Now, that doesn't mean they can't come back. It doesn't mean that they can't be great. They're also teasing the split of the Street Profits, which means Angelo Dawkins is fucked. I mean, they're gonna Jannetty him, even though they went out of their way to say that they're not going to Jannetty him. They definitely are going to Jannetty him, which is super unfortunate. And the Usos aren't losing this. I'm not saying that Jeff Jarrett is going to go heel and side with the Bloodline or anything like that, but if the Bloodline are going to lose their titles, I think they're going to lose all their titles in one night, and Roman Reigns ain't losing to Brock Lesnar. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, it will be very strange to see Jeff Jarrett in there because he's so disconnected. Other than literally where they are, there's no other reason for him to be in the match, which I guess makes sense because it would make him impartial if you were picking somebody to be a referee. But it's just a match we've seen a million times, and as much as I do like the Street Profits, and Montez Ford specifically, I feel bad for him for his choice of partner, but that's besides the point. I really do think WWE are trying to recreate what the Usos have with the New Day. And here, hold your breath, I'm going to give a lot of credit to the New Day here. Street Profits are awesome. Street Profits are not the New Day. And when I talk about the New Day, I'm talking specifically about the combination of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Because Xavier Woods is awesome, and he can carry Kofi Kingston to a pretty good match. I'm kidding! Don't bite my head off. Kofi Kingston can drag himself to a pretty good match. Hey, Brock Lesnar's on this card. Kofi better watch out. Actually, they're not even on the show. They're going to be on the kickoff doing something with something. I don't know. It's getting tired in here. All of a sudden, Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. And here's where we... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that just yet. Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. Tell me. Oh, won't you tell me, please, how this is one of the most interesting things and one of the most entertaining things happening in WWE right now. Because Baron Corbin is another Miz. In the sense of he knows what he needs to do to be a heel, and he doesn't have any qualms whatsoever about making himself look like an absolute jackfuck to get it done. When he did the whole, he was broke and he was shitty and, stained t-shirt and he hasn't shaved and all that kind of thing, made himself look like a super loser, and then, turned it around on a dime and became, the biggest douchebag. Did his best to put over Madcap Moss in their little mini feud, but I really don't think they know what they're doing with Madcap Moss. He's going to be another Mason Ryan or another Ridge Holland, isn't he? He's just going to be a guy that's big and can do big guy stuff. Pat McAfee is one of the most interesting and entertaining people WWE have. Pat McAfee's first match in the WWE was in black and gold rock and roll Triple H NXT against Adam Cole, baby, in an empty Full Sail. Do you remember that shit? And it was still good. He went on to War Games. He went on to WrestleMania to wrestle Theory and Vince McMahon. It's a riches to riches story, which automatically is going to mean half the world doesn't like him on principle. But Pat McAfee just needs to wrestle full time. We're gonna get here, right? Is we're gonna get a faction that's like Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, and Pat McAfee. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you for free. 2022 WWE 2K right now. I sort of fucked around with the titles a little bit because there's technically not trios titles in the WWE, so I made a singles title that looked like the tag titles, and I made them come out as a trio. So my WWE Trios champions in WWE 2K right now are Mr. T, Logan Paul, and Machine Gun Kelly. I'm that asshole. Oh, yes. Pat McAfee's going to win this, and it's going to be fucking awesome, and then they're going to find him something else to do, and that's going to be just as awesome. I want Pat McAfee to, like, have a short period of time where he's just another wrestler on the show, and see what he can do with guys that aren't just characters, like Baron Corbin and whatever. If they want to do Pat McAfee versus The Miz, I'm right there. I'm right fucking there. But put him in there with guys that can, like, you know, help him wherever he's lacking. I don't know where he's lacking, but it is what it is. Put him in there with Ricochet. Like, just, you know, hey man, I only wrestle sometimes, and, you know, there's probably only so many matches on my bump card, and you're one of the greatest guys we have on SmackDown, so why don't we just have a match at this next random B-paper? Pat McAfee versus Ricochet. Put that on your 2023 Spaz Phoenix, not bucket list, because that's for Destiny. Put it on the Spaz Phoenix wish list for 2023. It's all good. McAfee's winning because Corbin is there to lose. Now, let's talk about Bobby Lashley versus Theory, and let's talk about Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, because the two of them are going to intersect 100%. And the one person, it's funny because I mentioned Bobby Lashley versus Theory for the United States Championship, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a last man standing, last chance match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, and one name comes to mind. One name comes to mind. That name is Dolph Ziggler. Because, here's the deal. Here's the thing, and here's the thing. I'm predicting, first of all, Roman Reigns is going to beat Brock Lesnar. Like, does anybody not think that? Unless we do some Paul Heyman fuckery, which we've already done, so I don't think they want to revisit that. Roman Reigns is beating Brock Lesnar, so let's get that out of the way right now. Theory loses to Bobby Lashley, so that we have it in our minds that, okay, that match is out of the way, and he cashes in later on in the night. What do you do then? You have Bobby Lashley. He's out of the way. He's the champion. Whatever. He can go to the back and celebrate and jack himself off. It's fine. Theory doesn't get to cash in because Dolph Ziggler keeps him from cashing in, steals his briefcase, does whatever. You get Ziggler, who literally exists to make everybody else around him look good, in a feud with Theory, and then sort of sends him off. Maybe Ziggler gets a win. Maybe Ziggler gets a push, and Theory gets injured and goes away for a while. And then we forget about Theory for a while, and we forget about Theory because they don't want you to think about Vince McMahon when you think of Theory, because, you know, God forbid you give a guy credit for giving another guy a job. He comes back sometime later on. He comes back after Cody Rhodes has beaten Roman Reigns at WrestleMania in the main event, cracks him in the skull, pins Cody Rhodes. It's good, right? Or Cody Rhodes returns in the Royal Rumble, wins the Royal Rumble, gets cracked over the head. Theory says, I'm going to make this Money in the Bank cash in mine. You're going to never forget this one. I'm challenging you right now for the Royal Rumble spot you just won. Something like that. I do think that Roman Reigns goes on. They do the bloodline, you know, tribal chief. Oh, I acknowledge you. Rah. Theory does intend to cash in, doesn't get to cash in because of Dolph Ziggler. Or Dolph Ziggler is the one that costs Bobby Lashley. Dolph Ziggler is the one that costs Theory his match against Bobby Lashley. Theory attacks Ziggler in the back. They both get removed, and that's why he doesn't get to cash in or something like that. But there's not going to be a cash in at SummerSlam, is my prediction. And the reason that there's not going to be a cash in one way or another is going to be Dolph Ziggler. So Bobby Lashley leaves with his championship. Roman Reigns leaves with his championship. Brock Lesnar goes off and does whatever Brock Lesnar does because apparently he walked out on SmackDown even though he was there at the end. And this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, right? Somebody said to me a while ago, you know, I hope Sasha Banks walking out encourages more people to do the same. Even if they've been treated well, they can show respect to Sasha Banks because she's laid the way for them, right? If Brock Lesnar walked out of SmackDown because he has that same respect for Vince McMahon, and the quote is actually true, it's like, if he's gone, I'm gone, how's that any different? That's the last thought I'm going to leave with you. I'm not gonna, hoot and holler and spout off in the mouth on this one. But if you were so willing to support somebody that was handed everything, walking out and hoping more people walk out with her because they respect her so much, because, she laid the groundwork for them even though she didn't, she buried them all, why would you not support somebody walking out because they feel the person that actually laid the groundwork for them was getting fucked over? Tell me why they're different. Tell me what kind of bias you have. Expose yourself and try to explain that. Try to explain to me the difference on that one. I will say, I hope Brock Lesnar's not gone. I really do. But he ain't winning after what he allegedly pulled on SmackDown last week. That's all I got. Roman Reigns is going to keep his championship. Bobby Lashley is going to keep his championship. Pat McAfee is going to defeat Happy Corbin. The Usos are going to retain their championships. Ronda and Liv is going to be a slaughter. I hope Seth Rollins wins. Bianca's going to win because she's Bianca. Logan Paul's going to beat The Miz. I hope the Judgment Day beat the Mysterios. And Austin Theory is not going to cash in by hook or by crook because of Dolph Ziggler. These are my predictions. Let me know down in the box below or on Twitter at SpazPhoenix what your predictions are. I don't know exactly what time I'm putting this out on Friday because there's probably going to be multiple pods on Friday. But whenever you're listening to this, thank you for listening to this. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.